The Shark Deck.
Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Al Jaffe passed away. You know him from Mad Magazine's Fold-Ins. He was 102. From his New York Times obit, it was in 1964 that Al Jaffe created the Mad Fold-In, an illustrated with text feature on the inside of the magazine's back cover that seemed at first glance to deliver a straightforward message. When the page was folded in thirds, both the illustration and text were transformed into something entirely different and unexpected, often with a liberal-leaning or authority-defining message. The first fold-in, April 1964, issue 86. That one mocked Elizabeth Taylor's marital record. Unfolded, you saw Elizabeth Taylor with Richard Burton. When you folded it in, she had traded in Burton for another guy. In 1993, Jaffe told the KC Star it was supposed to be a one-shot, but because of the overwhelming demand of 3 or 4 of my relatives, it went on to a second time and on and on. Here's a good listen for you. Tim Dillon's podcast with Bert Kresicher. It's like 2 hours long, and they really got into the business of comedy. A very interesting discussion. Serious. I don't mean like serious with a capital S, but they were talking about the business of comedy. Really, I couldn't get enough of it, and for a 2-hour listen, it went by really quickly. Now, I'm going to share here, they made fun of Joe Rogan, and I pulled the clip. I've cut the clip down a little bit for pacing, but I thought this was kind of funny.
I remember watching Joe and going, God, man, there's so much meat left on that bone.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the things he does, and look, Joe wants privacy, and he's a bad example. But I remember going, if I was Joe, if I could have that outreach, I'll tell you what I'd do.
So if you had like his level of power,
first of all, I'd be doing more movies.
Well, he's got a bunch of jobs, right? He's got the UFC. He's a dad. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
He does the podcast. So, but it's for sure. There's maybe more.
Yeah, I would do.
He could do. He is lazy, I think, Joe.
He is.
He's a little lazy. I think that's kind of what we're getting at. I think what we're getting at is Rogan's kind of like a little bit lazy. Is that where we're going?
I think he is. I think
he is. Yeah.
You look what it is. Okay,
he can work out more.
What does he do? Talk to someone for 3 hours. That's it.
I know.
And then smokes weed and drinks.
And this whole spending time with my family canard. Enough.
I'm not buying it.
Enough.
I asked him his daughter's name the other day and he stumbled.
The world should know their names.
Yeah.
They should be monetized.
Some other topics. Bert Kreischer's advice for his opener. He said, stop opening for me. It's the worst thing you can do, but here's why. Bert said, the thing is, you don't ever want to be viewed as someone's opener. So you say to them, stop opening for me. One guy, I thought I had to. He needs to do his own thing because people were seeing him as my guy. Because you go out to clubs and people don't respect you. They go, oh, he's only ... because of ... Bert said his last opener is Marcelo Hernandez, who's now on Saturday Night Live. More career stuff. Tim Dillon said you can go out now and make your career what you want it to be. There's nobody really holding anybody back anywhere. There's no gatekeepers. That energy's got to go away. Like, all that energy and any bitterness or any resentment or any anger that you have can't be justified or rational right now. In this moment in the world, you can be resentful of the government. You can be resentful at your parents. I'm resentful at both of those, but you can't be resentful at anyone in this business. So I remember somebody would get the Montreal Comedy Festival and I wouldn't get it. And I had a great audition. I'd sit there and I'd be outside New York Comedy Club or whatever, smoking a cigarette in New York City. And I'd be like, MFer, but it is what it is. Bert Kreischer said, I remember being resentful for people that didn't even know I existed. And I'd be like, I hate you. I hate these people for not knowing. And then I'd run into them. I'd be like, hey, what's up? And they'd be like, hi, I've never met you before. And I'd be like, oh, for real, right? But you didn't get my submission tape? I'd do submission tapes and I'd put cool music in the front that I thought the guy would like. Bert said, my stand-up was so bad when I was young. That's the other thing I would say. I got really lucky. This is a big statement. This could get me in trouble. What's happening now with comedy is what happened with hot chicks in comedy. So hot chicks in comedy, they get scooped up the second they step on the scene. If you're beautiful, you're in, you're pretty good, right? Even pretty competent, you're in, you get scooped up, you get spots you want. You want a headline? We'll take your headline. Managers let you in, you get into theaters. Let's go, get you going. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. I'll say Chelsea Handler is a big exception. She's beautiful. And man, when I first saw her, she was a gangster on stage. But I will say that the problem is that a pretty woman sometimes, and Eliza's an exception, they get scooped up and they get put in positions they're maybe not ready for. I got lucky that I was just a dude who got to be good or mediocre for a very long time, and then I got pretty good. And then I got that hot chick moment where they go, hey, you ready for something? And then you're like, wait, I'm already good. I know how to do this. I've been doing this for 22 years. That's what's going to happen with comics. They're going to get a video that goes big online, then everyone's going to be like, oh, we got to go see them, and they're not going to be ready. It's like Last Comic Standing, where guys could do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then they blow it during an hour. They blow it. Yeah, remember Last Comic Standing? I remember I would show up at work at Sirius, and people were like, hey, did you see so-and-so last night? And I'm like, you understand they pulled a 20-second joke? Anybody can be funny for 20 seconds. Can you do it for an hour? Can you do it for 8 minutes? Can you do a half an hour? Anyway, Tim, Dillon, and Bert Kresicher. Very, very good listen there. I also checked out, as promised, Atsuko Okatsuka on NPR's Bullseye, and I couldn't do it, man. It was just so... NPR has this vibe. The conversation was just like serious. It was like, oh, I have a comedian here. Let me do a serious interview there. And there are ways to do it. Rogan could do it, or Tim Dillon apparently just did it. But this was like, I don't know, just not fun at all. So I bailed on it and I deleted the Mark Maron one without even listening to it. John Early is getting an HBO special. It's called Now More Than Ever, a stand-up comedy hour in the style of a gritty 70s rockumentary. It'll be out in June. No trailer yet. It will feature stand-up and explosive song covers from Britney to Neil Young, intercut with Spinal Tap-esque backstage sketches. In a statement, John Early said, "I'm so excited to finally come out to the world as the lead singer of my band, John Early and the Lemon Squares. I had the time of my life singing some of my favorite songs and sweating my brains out at the taping, and I can't wait for more people to finally see this sacred show I've been doing some version of for the past 10 years in New York. I cannot feel any cooler to have the support of all comedy legends, Absolutely Productions, and for this airing on the crown jewel that is HBO." Bob Odenkirk, who talked about his heart attack, he spoke to The Independent, and he said, "I had a strangely upbeat energy in the time after the heart attack. I was chipper and clueless about the enormity of what had happened to me and what other people had felt being around it. It was only over time that what happened slowly sank in. My brain was completely hiding this thing from me. I was trying to make it disappear, and it did." He thinks it changed him for the better. He said, "I feel kind of great, like a blank slate, but in a good way. I feel like I've cleaned my palate. It made me think about how you spend the time you have, and the bottom line is, I don't want my days to be as packed. I want to be able to enjoy the good things in my life, and I want to enjoy the problems, too. When you're racing around trying to fix things, you don't enjoy anything. That's been my life for a little while. I'm trying to cut back on it, and I'm doing a good job. I'm really trying to get some space in my life." Saw a quick note on offbeat.com. Lewis Black apparently has a special coming out May 2nd, and I was like, did I miss this? Did I erase this from my brain? And I Googled Lewis Black, Tragically I Need You, and the only reference I see to it is from the article I'm quoting. So apparently, according to offbeat.com, Lewis Black has a highly anticipated stand-up special called Lewis Black, Tragically I Need You, set to release May 2nd. May 2nd is curious, too, because that's a Monday. A lot of times specials come out on Tuesday. I don't know where it's landing. Here, let me Google it again. It's been a couple hours since I wrote this. Yeah, not really seeing anything. There's an IMDb with no details. All right, we're getting a Lewis Black special. If you enjoy what I do here, one way to support the show is become a premium subscriber on Apple Podcasts. So you got a phone there, an iPhone? Why don't you click on that purple podcast app? Or maybe you're using it right now. You're listening to a podcast. Wait, John, that doesn't make sense. I'm already listening to you. Okay. Next time you do it, if you go to Daily Comedy News, they will put under your nose, hey, premium episodes. So you become a premium subscriber for $5 a month. You'll get the episodes ad-free and a little early. You could have had this one sometime on Tuesday afternoon, huh? First month's free, $5 a month. Thanks in advance. And you can't say I haven't covered Australian comedy lately. Let's talk about Aunty Donna. Remember those guys? They had a sketch show on Netflix right when the pandemic started. It was pretty good. That's how I got turned on to them. They've got a new show down in Australia. It's called Aunty Donna's Coffee Cafe. The Guardian reviewed it, and the review's not so good. Sketch comedy trio scramble for laughs. A new show. The premise of running a Melbourne cafe has heaps of potential. But while there's always joy to be found in the zaniness, this series isn't their best. Oh no, 3 stars out of 5. The Guardian writes, Australian comedy troupe Aunty Donna's previous series, Big Ol' House of Fun, was set in a shared house, providing an easy means to launch various random encounters. Those could come from strangers knocking on the door or the antics of the housemates themselves. The group's new showcase of dippy, absurdist humor almost literalizes that revolving door of comedic potential. It's based in a newly opened Melbourne cafe where the 3 owners endeavor to find a marketable point of difference to distinguish their business from all the others. A video played early in the first episode of Aunty Donna's Coffee Cafe reveals what other trendy cafes are doing, from selling vinyl to stocking over 100 types of cereal. One cafe serves popcorn and plays a movie in front of the customer. The joke is that's a movie theater. Another gives you free books for a bit. That joke is that it's a library. The bumbling entrepreneurs experiment with adding axe throwing to their menu. Customers don't want to do that. The show begins with 16-year-old employee Stephanie on her first day. The camera at one point morphing into a first-person perspective to show the wacky trio pelting her with wild banter and nonsensical jokes. 3 stars out of 5. Rats. The Age has been reviewing shows at the International Comedy Festival. Joshua Ladgrove is at Town Hall until April 23rd. Part comedy show, part history lesson, and fully an homage to the profound love he felt for his 97-year-old grandmother before her passing. Baba is a sensational hour. Laughs are abundant. His historical-like knowledge of Slavic political warfare and international relations is immaculately articulated, as is his deep hatred of communism. You'll leave with a stomach aching of laughs, tears in your eyes, and the urge to call your relatives and let them know you love them. 4.5 stars. Let's see who's at the festival on Thursday. Will Anderson's show is called Willuminate. The Sydney Morning Herald gave it 4.5 stars. Lightning in a Bottle. Chortle also gave it 4.5 stars. Goodwill and good jokes. We can go see him at 7 o'clock. What do you think? Let's listen.
I live overseas half of the year, right? I live in America half of the year, and I was there just after the election, and this guy came up to me in a show, and he was like, "Oh, I'd never move to Australia. Too many dangerous animals." I was like, look around your country, mate. At least the dingoes don't have guns. I'm fine. We've made our choices, right? He's like, "Oh, what about the sharks? What about the sharks?" I mean, they're dangerous, but mostly in the water. I'd let you have your gun if you were like, "Oh, I'm keeping it off the coast." That's fine. A shark rarely bothers you at any other time of the day, right? You're really getting money out of an ATM at 3 o'clock in the morning and you just feel a little fin in your back. Turn around, there's a shark in a balaclava like, "I'm a dolphin." All I'm saying is we have dangerous animals, but they're not as dangerous guns, right? You never hear in Australia of some psycho walking into a school and chucking redbacks everywhere. You don't have our version of the NRA, the RSPCA, coming out going, "Well, the only way to prevent that is if the teachers are armed with funnel web spiders."
I enjoyed that a lot. I'm just randomly clicking on these based on the titles. There's so many of them, and then I scroll down, I just see what's going on. How about Daniel Connell? His show is called I'm Always Sore. The Age said 55 minutes of exquisitely judged middlebrow Australian humor. That's a 6:15 show if you want to go. Let's listen.
A bit upset at the moment, guys. I've got to get something off my chest. I'm a bit upset with the local service station attendants down at my local server, right? Don't know if you're getting this as well, but I can't go get fuel anymore without them offering me some sort of deal. You getting that as well when you go get your fuel? Would you like some 2-for-1 chocky bars, mate? Do you want some energy drinks? Would you like some sex in the toilet? All these weird offers. It's disgusting. Of course I don't want any energy drinks. They are gross. Deborah and Graham, they're the worst at my local servo. They're absolute pests. I was in there the other day. Graham offered me this 2-for-1 deal. He goes, "Do you want to try the new deal, Daniel?" I said, "What is it, mate?" He goes, "There's a 2-for-1 deal on 3 litres of milk." So what's that, mate? He goes, "You want 6 litres of milk for the price of 3. Who's drinking that much milk? Goes off in 3 days. You think I'm drinking 2 litres of milk a day for the next 3 days, right? Pull your head in, mate. Do you think I'm bathing in milk, Graham? Is that what you think? You think I'm having milk baths? Think I'm hand-raising 3 tiger cubs, mate? What? Would I need 6 litres of milk? I had my 2 cents worth at him. You would as well. He got all upset. He's like, "Oh, look, Daniel, just calm down. Put the knife down, mate." So just so you know, the reason we offer 2-for-1 deals is because our boss makes us do it. If we don't do it, we don't get shifts at the server. So there you go. That's why you get offered 2-for-1 deals. Obviously, I felt horrible for having a go at him. So if anybody needs any milk...
Nice. Good job there. Brought that around. If you can't make it to Melbourne, maybe you can make it to the Dubai Comedy Festival. They've announced some more comedians coming. They are Atsuko, Okatsuka, Beth, Stelling, and Rachel Feinstein. They've all been added. The Dubai Comedy Festival, May 12th through the 21st. Pretty good lineup, those 3. And Jimmy Carr's playing there. Can't wait. And you know what starts tonight? Moontower. Yeah. Just for Laughs, Austin Moontower Comedy Festival. Let's take a look at tonight's lineup. Chris DiStefano at 7 o'clock. Kenny Sebastian at 7. Kenny has a second show at 9:30 and something called Perfect Cult at 8. This is comedian Moses Storm. The Perfect Cult is a unique interactive comedy special that invites audience members to participate in the formation of a one-night-only cult. Each night, after opening up about his own hilarious and heartbreaking cult experience, Moses interviews a guest comedian or audience member about their religious background. He asks them about the parts of their religions they identify with, don't identify with, parts that have helped them, and the parts they find just weird. All right, what do you want to do? Chris DiStefano at 7 and Perfect Cult at 8, something like that? Sure, why not? And the final item today are spoilers for last Sunday's Succession. If you care at all about Succession, I imagine you know what I'm going to talk about by now, but I'll give you a chance to bail here. You've got 3, 2, 1. All right, it's spoilers time. This from Vulture. Executive producer Georgia Pritchett revealed on Twitter that the writers of Succession decided in January of 2022 that Logan Roy would die, and they gave the event a code word on the office whiteboards so no one would find out. The code word was Larry David. They explain Larry David means Logan dies. So episode 403 said Connor's wedding, Larry David. Vulture adds, mind you, that would have also been a great episode. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow.
Travel is back. Let's put the pandemic behind us. Let's get back out there. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac. And on my podcast, which is called Travel is Back, I tell you about some places I've been and what I like to do when I get there. This show, Travel is Back, is travel for regular people. We're not flying first class. We're not going for Michelin stars. Throw your bags in the back of the car. Maybe we'll fly coach. We'll grab some food on the fly. We'll check out places like Chicago, Montreal, LA, Seattle, Vancouver, and occasionally somewhere more exotic like Iceland, which is awesome. Barcelona, Paris, Australia, also all awesome. Travel is Back is the name of the show. Follow it for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows. Travel is Back.